Hello? Is it working?
Oh yeah, I hear.
Okay, there we go. Hey everybody, I'm Graample. This is Kirby 64 100%. I have as a commentator Curtissimo41.
How's it going, everybody?
This is the 100% category, so I will be collecting all of the shards and beating the true final boss 02. So timer starts as soon as I select this file, and it'll end on the last hit of the boss. I'm really bad at talking while I play this game, so Curtis is going to be doing most of the commentary. So
you're going to be hearing a lot of my lovely voice today.
Yeah, we're basically just going to be memeing the whole time. So 3, 2, 1, go. Nice tutorial skip.
All right, so good. You got the tutorial skip. Hardest trick in the game, making sure you don't hit nope. But starting with 1-1, you're going to see here we're going to pick up the fire power-up, and this is going to be probably the most important movement throughout the whole game. Basically, it's a little trick called fire canceling. At the end of each streak of fire, you have to do a float, you have to push the A button and then cancel it, and then activate another fire, so it's like a combination of pushing A, B, B, A, B, B over and over again. Pretty much throughout the entire game. There's a lot of levels that don't use it, but for the majority of it, you'll be seeing a lot of this movement. Pretty much, sums up all of 1-1. Not too much else to say here. Basically, just gotta, beat the mini boss in the little cabin. Combine right here for the bomb in order to get the second crystal of the level.
I played that really safe.
Yep, right here in the water, you gotta break the
Whoa, did you see that?
Barrier.
The firework in the water?
I saw that, yeah. It was a little bit delayed for me, but I'm trying to keep up. Yeah, right here you beat the Waddle-Doo mini-boss, and then grab the final crystal. And you'll notice when he grabs the crystal, he floats up to the top of the screen for these mini-bosses. That's because the little fairy crystal, or ribbon, sorry. Yeah, crystal the fairy. The screen transitions away faster when ribbon, oh my gosh. I was back into Kirby. So he pretty much just tries to float up higher so that ribbon can return sooner. And you'll see here in 1-2 some more of the single fire movement.
Yeah.
Nothing too special in World 1.
It's really important to keep up your timing, or else you're just going to lose altitude from all the single fire.
And you might not notice it, but throughout a lot of these levels, there's actually certain patterns you have to follow when single firing. Like, at certain points in the level, you'll hit certain enemies, or you'll land on a certain block. So you have to be careful of the distances you travel and, where you activate the fire each time. And then right here you got the little gondola, but we're going to skip that and head to the bottom and grab the first crystal of this level.
Didn't miss it.
Nice. That one's surprisingly hard to judge how high or low you are compared to the crystals, so it's a good job getting it first try. And sort of dance around this mini-boss right here.
I'm going to sit in this corner, sip my coffee, while Adeline draws some enemies.
Yeah, we got a silly little mini-boss battle here with Adeline, our good friend. She draws all these little enemies, and in the beginning you gotta kill 4 of the really small ones, and then there's 3 bigger ones that actually affect whether you save or lose time on the battle. And
this is the one that matters.
Yep. Yep, starting with this one, the little blurred out one. Adeline can wave the brush in between which enemy she paints, and if she waves the brush, it actually loses a little bit of time. So it can be a bit irritating. But you try not to let it get to you.
Dude, that's 2 waves. What the heck?
Luck does not seem like it's going to be on our side this run.
Tried so hard and got so far, dude. Okay.
This run's already over before it even began.
At least there wasn't a third one.
Yeah, blast away Adeline right at the end there.
Got a blast! Alright.
Brain blast.
You think I should go for fast CDD, dude?
I think so, yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna do it.
We'll explain the trick a little bit later on, but until then, I mean, more single fire canceling. You'll be seeing a lot of this again. So I hope you enjoy all of this quick firing. It's not going to go away anytime soon.
Pretty exciting stuff.
And then you'll see, starting here with the room with the staircase, throughout the game, when you're running on sloped paths, whether it's going upwards or downwards, if you're walking on it, your horizontal speed slows down. So while you're running up a sloped floor, you actually want to be jumping so that you maintain the same horizontal speed you would get while running on flat ground. Thank you for the luck, Sniper.
Oh, thanks.
Graample appreciates it.
What's up, Sniper?
Enjoy your class. Yeah, some good timing there. You'll see also, as he walks through the door, he pulls out the power, but it goes directly into Kirby's mouth. That's because when you pull out a power, if the animation gets canceled, then it goes straight into Kirby's mouth, and you can just toss it much quicker than you normally would in the next room.
Whenever there's a like doorway that I need to go through, I'll slide into it so that I'll get to the door faster, but I won't have to deal with the ending animation of the slide.
By the way, did somebody say double fire? Best
Here we
power
go.
in the game.
Nice!
I'm waiting to see it. There we go. So you'll see there, he waited on the third hit of the first phase for DDD to jump up a little bit. That's what we like to call fast DDD, because normally you just hit him 3 times consecutively. But if you wait for him to jump, it can actually save like a second and a half or more on this level. So we got some good luck there, as opposed to what Adeline gave us in the last level. And now we got Wispy Woods, the boss of World 1. He is where the RNG really strikes for World 1, so we'll see what happens here.
It's a poop clap already.
Yeah, first phase we got the little Wispies. They each take 2 hits to kill. And you gotta be careful with how you're double firing, because if you miss them or you hit them too early, then you can waste a lot of time based on how long the double fire animation is.
Sometimes Wispy will try to cough on Kirby, and I'm not trying to catch his cold, so I'm just gonna look out of the way.
Yeah, with the second phase, he can do that puff attack up to 4 times, from anywhere from 0 to 4 times, and he can give you apples. He has to give you apples at least once. And if he gives you apples twice, then it loses a lot of time, so that's where the RNG really kicks in. But it seemed like a pretty good battle. Now we're on the World 2. Keeping the double fire just for this first portion here. And this is where, like I mentioned earlier, it depends where you start the double fire, because you have to be careful where you land, make sure you don't hit enemies, and you're landing on all the correct platforms and such.
That's right. All of this is routed. Timing is everything. Did I jump high enough?
Somehow you got that cake there.
Yeah, I did.
Here we're heading into our boy Sandross's cave. See more of him later.
Sandross's cave.
A sneaky little crystal up here.
I dropped an input. This game is very notorious for, like, eating your inputs.
Yeah, you'll see he was trying to get rid of the double fire as fast as possible. But sometimes, like if you're walking off an edge, it'll just completely ignore the input that you put in, then, just kind of drop it, and it's really annoying when it does that. This game handles inputs kind of strangely. But with this next room, it's an auto-scroller, but we get to see, I think there's 6 of them on the wall. These faces spitting out sand, we like to call him Sandross. As you'll see in the chat.
We call him Sandross because he looks like Andross from Star Fox on the Super Nintendo. Like, almost like pixel for pixel copy.
It's too good. I think they planned that, honestly. They're just like, I wonder how long it'll take for someone to notice this.
This is one of a few auto-scrollers in the level, or in the game.
Oh god, imagine if one level had multiple auto-scrollers.
Or if the whole level was an auto-scroller, I would cry.
Thankfully, this game is a lot faster paced than that. Yeah, up here, up and down this mountain, a couple times you'll see, as I mentioned earlier, walking on sloped ground. So I have to keep jumping just to maintain the horizontal speed. And you saw a little delayed on my end, but he combined the rock with the Sparky right there. Sparky is an interesting enemy in this game because he can jump left or right, he can jump various heights.
It's completely RNG. He's just a son of a bitch.
Completely based on luck. He can jump into pits and kill himself and make himself unavailable to combine with. It's just very frustrating sometimes throughout the game. So you'll see plenty of Sparky in a bunch of different spots. Yeah, just finishing up the level here. Making Kirby cry at the picnic, as always.
Yep, Kirby's starving today.
You can do pillar skip.
Oh, I'm not going to do that. It's way too risky.
There's a new, kind of newish trick found here where you can actually skip this first pillar, because normally we wait. But it's very risky. You have to jump at a pretty much pixel-perfect time. Probably like a couple frame window only. Got some nice sliding movement here. Pick up another single fire. Continue on our way. This next room is actually pretty cool because there's a lot of good movement. It's not as reliant on single fire. There are some of them, but I think it mostly depends on timing and running and sliding and all this cool stuff. I've always liked this room. Yeah, one more fun fact, not the acro thing, different fun fact. You'll see he grabbed a sandwich up higher. In the Japanese version, they actually have a rice ball instead of a sandwich in the game. Oh, sorry, jelly donut, not rice balls. Oh gosh.
Preemptive B press.
That crystal can be tough. Yeah, this room, another example of the timing and spacing with single firing. You have to be careful of these cutter enemies right here.
So
I said you have to be careful.
I messed up the spacing there, so that just completely threw off where I'm supposed to single fire.
Yeah, this room can be tricky with that. And this last room, normally we would keep fire all the way through, but prior to a couple of months ago, we actually found a new route where we get curling stone for the next level, so we get rid of the single fire at the end, and we pick up this ice enemy here. And then we move on to the final DDD section of this level.
Alright, see if we get the upwards fire.
Oh gosh. It'll make or break the run if we get upwards fire. Mellow
Save literally 5 hours. Oh, baby!
You get it? Oh, we skipped it.
Rest in peace, Mellow.
Sorry, Mellow. Not today.
Definitely gonna go for a safety tomato, though.
And the chat is not pleased. Dude, Swordsman Kirby, thank you for the luck.
Oh, SK's here. What's up, dude? Just in time for the best part.
Safety tomato always important. Especially for 2-4, you'll see why later. Yeah, this is the part where we combine the ice power-up that we picked up with the rock enemy right here. Which actually made this next level a lot more fun to play. Because curling stone movement, in my opinion, is a lot faster, a lot more fun than single fire. It's not necessarily faster until we get towards the end of the level where we're sinking in the water, and you'll see once we get there why it's so much faster. Yeah, this part can be tough with grabbing that crystal because we have to avoid a lot of these skull enemies here, and they can, just fly around and hit you when you're not expecting it. Yeah, curling movement, it's a lot tougher than it looks.
After every curl, you have to input a dash, which is pressing right on the D-pad, just to maintain your speed. And if you mess it up, you just come to a dead halt.
Yeah, if you're not sprinting when you activate the curling stone, you kind of just very slowly slide forward, and it's kind of...
Mobu strats?
Oh god. Nice. A lot of cool movement here. And this is where you start seeing where curling stone is faster than the single fire that we normally got. So when you're in the water, curling stone sinks a lot faster than having Kirby swim downwards. So I think from the change, at least for me, this level saved about 10 seconds with the new route change. So it's kind of amazing that this hadn't been found earlier, honestly. But yeah, curling stone right there, sinking all the way down. Yeah, pretty much. Curling stone, we're always scraping the floor with the brush.
Scraping the floor?
That would be wild if they made it that way.
Literally peeling the finish off the wood. It's a sport, alright.
Imagine if the actual sport of curling involved throwing curling stones in the air. Because it's actually funny it doesn't do that.
EA Sports Curling.
Anyway, end of the level there. Getting rid of power. Getting ready for 2-4. Right at the beginning, we have to pick up this missile, which gives us the bomb power.
Yep.
So we just make our way over into that ship over off in the distance. I like to call it the fifth angel from Evangelion, because that's what it reminds me of. But once we hop in there, you have to float gradually to the top, and you'll see when we float to the top here, we intentionally take damage off of the cannons on the wall. And that's because in this game, Kirby has a limited amount of time that he can float upwards, but taking damage will actually reset that amount, so we can use this to float all the way to the top.
Let's see if I get the task blocks. A lot of interesting movement coming up.
Oh yeah, this room we like to call task blocks just because it's a lot of pretty precise jumping and, you know, pulling out the powers and combining and stuff. At the end of this room we gotta combine for light bulb, so we'll see what happens.
So they call it task blocks because in the original task, the task would go on the left side of that room, Waterfish Sun. And so the way that runners used to do it was they go on the right side. And because there's a bunch of blocks in that room, it just kind of stuck task blocks.
Yep.
But landed the trick, or I guess movement.
Right here for this mini boss battle, we just pull out the light bulb that we had, shoot it at him for double damage, pick up this spark, hit him twice.
That was close.
Oh wow. I was gonna say, and then combine for double spark, but I couldn't tell if he failed it or not. But yeah, thankfully we got the double spark. We'll need that for the Pix boss fight coming up next. Pretty good 2-4.
Let's drop, dude.
Yeah. We have a little meme here, or at least I do, where we play Shake It by Metro Station for this boss battle. I have no idea why, it's just kind of a dumb meme that we do.
Hands up.
It's all Major Mellow's fault. Yeah, if you got dancing emotes, use them as much as you can. Pepe Jam, Doge please, all of them.
Doge please.
Yeah, just to explain this boss battle a little bit, so this first part is like a minute, 10-second auto-scroller, I think. There's two different patterns that these crystal parts can take in the beginning, and depending on what they do, you can either stand in the same spot for the entire auto-scroller, or after the first cycle, you can like move a little bit to the left, and then avoid all damage by standing there, so again, not too eventful, just avoiding the attacks by not doing much.
Alright, see if I get the good pattern.
Yep, so for the actual meat of the boss fight, when you use this double power that we pull out and spit at him, each hit can do double damage against each of the crystals. And in order to continue doing double damage without that, you have to hit them with the same color.
Heck yeah. That's my best picks ever, dude.
Nice. Well done. Are you keeping splits?
No, I'm not.
Aw, dang.
That's alright. Did it for Fleet Fest.
Yeah, that was really well done. You can get kind of screwed over with some of those patterns, or with one of the patterns especially, but...
Alright, so this is Curtis's favorite world.
Yeah, in our SGDQ run that Swordsman did, I described this world as oceany, having oceany, watery aesthetic. I have no idea why. Somebody in the chat was like, it's called a beach. So, kind of another dumb meme that we have. But yeah, more single fire movement. You'll see coming up in one of the following rooms, or actually this next room, sorry, we lead the penguin that's at the beginning all the way to the end to the bomber enemy, and then we combine the penguin, which is ice power up, with the bomber enemy in order to get the exploding snowman power up. Yeah, originally runs of this game would just pick up the penguin and run with it, but I think doing this saves like a second or more. It's not too much, but it's easy enough that it's not like terribly risky. Now with this room, you just gotta bop all these blocks, puff, cancel, kill all these fish in the way. And just sort of avoid the slopes by jumping over them in order to save some time.
It's a perfect example of what we call butter movement. Smooth.
Yeah, some levels where you only run are pretty cool because there's like a lot of threading the needle stuff going on. I like to call that butter. But yeah, for this little mini boss, just slide under him, hit him with the bomb 4 times, and then grab the crystal that shows itself. And the main reason we picked up this snowman power is because at the bottom of this room here...
Oh, Sparky, get out of here!
Yeah, another example of bad Sparky movement right there. But, yeah, we need the snowman combo to break this little barrier to get the last crystal. It's a blue and black barrier.
Now that I got it, I dumped the power.
Yeah, pull out the power, do a nice little, swaggy little enemy kill, and then make our way out.
Swaggy? Like Swaggy and Swooby?
Yes, exactly.
Elmo E is Scooby-Doo?
Swaggy and Swooby. I love it. Alright, 3-2. This has another auto-scroller. The first time we ride with Waddle Dee in some sort of vehicle. You'll love that part. It's pretty cute. I like it. But until then, we're just running through, avoiding stuff. Make sure we get that rock power so we can combine with fire later on.
I just fat fingered A and B. My B.
Yeah, you'll notice here also when we're running on the ground, when the current is moving in your direction, it actually speeds Kirby up. So when that's the case, we try to stay on the ground as much as possible, but when it's running against you, like right here at the end of the bridge, we have to keep jumping in order to avoid slowing down. Now we combine for the volcano power so we can break the barrier at the top of this little crab fight right here. It's Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs.
I love how you hit them and they just sort of like pulsate. I always thought that was kind of fun. The lead seems to have enjoyed that swaggy and swooby joke. Yeah, right here, 2 little peas in a pod riding down the river in their wooden box. I don't know where it came from. But depending on where you jump at certain points in this part, it can actually speed you up. So if you jump on down slope and you hold it for longer, you can maintain faster horizontal speed, which saves a tiny bit of time, not too much. The main one is at the very end here, at like the final cutscene. If you can jump and maintain speed through that cutscene, you save probably a good second or so.
There it is.
Yep, right there. Oh. Seemed like it slowed down a little bit.
Everybody dance!
Time to dance again. The invincibility candy. We hold an enemy in Kirby's mouth throughout this whole part so that when you fall at each of these waterfalls, he doesn't, bounce off the ground. So we just hold it and then we break the fish when the invincibility candy wears off and move on to probably the most important part of this level, which we call the climb. This part's tricky because you have to keep jumping because you're going against the current, as I mentioned earlier, and then avoid all these spring enemies and eventually pick up another single firepower right here. And we'll carry that through some of the next level.
What?
But, oh jeez. Yeah, that fire enemy right there always gives me trouble. But once you got fire, you just sort of float to the top and then all the way to the right and make your way out. While avoiding these logs that look like almond-covered chocolate logs. Super delicious.
It was an okay climb.
Not bad, not bad.
Alright, everyone's favorite level coming up.
Yep. Level 3-3. Starting off with a little bit of single firepower. And then in the next room, we're going to be combining for the Ninja Star power, which is bomb and cutter, in order to get the second crystal? First or second?
So, I can't remember.
I don't know, either the first or second crystal, but the most important part of this level is, at the end, we're going to have the cutter and rock power-up, which turns Kirby into one of his 6 animal friends from Kirby's Dream Land 3. The one that we need to get the crystal in that room is Rick, the hamster, because he's the only one that can climb high enough to grab the crystal in that room. And in order to get him, since there's 6 animal friends, on the first try it's a 1 in 6 chance, but after that, since they can't repeat, it's a 1 in 5 chance. It can be anywhere from first try to we've seen as high as like 23rd try, and each failed Rick is like a second and a half lost. So this is one of the largest portions of RNG in the run by far. It can really screw over your run. But yeah, right here, the Ninja Star part, we use it real quick, break that barrier and grab the crystal.
God, we've got a 23rd try.
Yeah, I don't think it was in a race, but on a run once I got 23rd try, and it was just,
no,
it was
I think
painful.
It was during PB attempts for you.
Yeah, it was just in like a regular attempt. That was, still have PTSD to this day.
PTSD.
Yeah, right here we combine with the cutter, rocking the cutter.
Alright, everybody get your guesses in.
Boss.
I'm gonna say it's gonna take 4 tries.
I'm saying 8.
Oop.
PTSD, exactly. Alright, let's see what happens here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's happening.
6, 7. Oh god, it's happening! 9. 10. 10th
Everybody
try.
panic.
10th try, dude.
Everybody panic.
Oh man. What is that, like 20 seconds?
Okay, yeah, like 15 or 20 seconds.
Ugh. Disgusting.
Run's over. Fleet Fest is over.
Yep, Fleet Fest is over. Pack it up.
Pack it up, everybody. Yeah, after you get destroyed by that part, you gotta climb up these platforms here that drop the logs on you. The ones that come out of the right wall actually fall immediately after you jump on them. But the ones that come out of the left wall, you have some time to sprint. So, you know, you see a little bit of that movement, or you saw a little bit of it. I guess we're past it now. But we get through that, we finish the level, we're on to 3-4, which is completely underwater, as you will see.
Oh, hello, Richard.
Yeah, it's funny, like, typically when you get bad Rick in 3-3, you get first try Rick in 3-4, which you don't even need. So, that's cool. Thanks, game.
Yeah, thanks, game.
And for this room, you pick up one of the fish, and if Kirby holds it over his head, he can swim a lot faster horizontally.
Yep, nice little break.
Keep your hands off the controller, you can get a sip of water,
Yep.
sip of coffee, you can stretch, do your taxes, do your homework.
Taxes?
Just kidding, there's not that much time, but you get the idea.
It's a nice little ride to the end.
Fame. Just combining thanks game. Yeah, for this part, just mashing to swim upwards as quickly as you possibly can, avoiding all this stuff. And there's a crystal in a little alcove in the ceiling up top. That one, you can actually miss that pretty easily if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, if you're busy reading chat.
You know, at this room, we got Kirby sliding down the pole, and then another crystal that if you miss this, if you swim over it, you can't swim back down. So it's another one you have to be very, very careful about. And we pick up the bomb enemy, which we'll need for the mini-boss coming up, and the boss of World 3, Acro.
I've been picking up that fish lately on the right side.
I tried doing that in a run, and it blew up, so it died.
Blew up?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I was like, well, I need to practice that.
Oh my goodness, what is going on?
Yikes. Yeah, with this mini-boss, there's a way where you can get stuck in that little hole in the ceiling and finish him up quickly by throwing some bombs at him. But unfortunately, we weren't able to get that movement. And for this next part, we got what we like to call the Trollders. This is some more RNG, where the boulders spawn different sizes, different parts of the level, so they can hit you if you get pretty bad RNG, if you get a bad pattern or something.
Sorry,
but
we made it out, dude.
Yep, on to Acro the Whale.
So, fun fact, did you know Acro, spelled backwards, is orca?
Oh boy.
So, the name of this boss is Acro. They don't actually reveal it unless you get the card. But, it's two parts of this boss. One which I just did pretty quickly, and then the second part has two different patterns. And so, if Acro does this pattern where he, like, charges up the middle, then that loses, like, what? 3-5 seconds?
Probably something like that.
Yeah.
Probably like a 3-second time swing.
But that pattern seems to be more common than the other one where he just throws stuff at you.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more common, especially with my runs too.
There it is, dude.
Marathon luck strikes again. Mello's mind is blown in chat. Never knew Acro was a whale. An orca whale, no less.
Did you know Acro spelled backwards is dolphin?
Anyway.
Alright, so World 4, one of the more technical parts of the game.
Starting off with another buttery smooth level here. No tricks besides running, sliding, puff canceling, all the basics. Nice exhibition of skill. I almost said expedition.
Aw, dang. I was going for 2 jumps on the block.
Okay. There's some tight jumps you gotta make here. Some tricky patterns you gotta get through. And then you break that secret floor right there to grab the crystal, first crystal. And with this next room, we're going to jump down to get to the second crystal and pick up single fire, which we'll use for the rest of the level.
Goodness. What is going on?
Oh wow. fire enemy was aggressive there.
Yeah, the fire enemy is aggressive.
Yeah, with these vines, you can actually hold the direction that you're facing while climbing up them, and then just sort of keep jumping, and Kirby will keep grabbing them. This next room with all these vines can be pretty scary, because as you can see, there's not a floor here, so as we get close to the bottom and, you know, do some single fire canceling, if you mess up once, like, you just fall to your death, and the whole room is over. Pretty much the run is over at that point. But making good work of it.
Yeah, you
when
really
fire
can't
with that,
afford to just miss it.
yeah. In the beginning of this next room, you kind of just chill and make it to this moving log right here, and you actually get a little bit of a speed boost when you run and jump off of it as it's moving to the right. And then you get the third crystal up top, avoiding all those pesky birds. And then once again for this last room, we get the invincibility candy.
Time to dance.
Dance again.
Buddies? Dance, buddies!
Dance, buddies. Dang, marathon safe title. We should have called it that at GDQ.
Dance,
okay,
guys!
So at the end there, so at the end there, we get rid of the fire and pick up the rock. We're actually going to go back to level 2-4 and combine this rock with the bomb for the dynamite power that we need to get a crystal in 4-2. So this whole next level, we're not depending on any special powers like single fire or anything like that to get us through. We're just running and, you know, doing all the basics again throughout the whole level. You can say dance, bitches. Oh, sweet. Alright, we got the go-ahead.
Bitch.
Oh my god. Don't become an Eminem record. I like that rule. But who's Eminem?
Oh, it's a candy.
Yeah, don't eat M&Ms. They're bad for you. We should probably talk about this minecart section.
Oh, yeah. So I'm doing a lot of jumping here, which actually saves a teeny bit of time every time I do. The only part I really need to worry about is, like, all the stuff that comes up in the way, like those obstacles. And making sure I pick up the crystal, which I did. But most of this level is just running and, like, timed sliding.
You gonna get the Curtis Bop?
I hope so. What? Nope, I didn't get it.
Nice. Ah, dang. Spoiled it. It's like 2-second delay.
Soiled it! Soiled it!
Runs all, oh, those frogs. If you get eaten by those frogs, it wastes, like, it's like
Are we live? Are we good? Hello, hello? Okay, well that sucks. Yeah, my...
Device is offline.
Yeah. So my internet just completely died. My Alexa's like freaking out.
Network.
We're back.
Curtis, you there?
Wait. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Alright, so I'm on oh shoot, I'm at 1 health. Can you see the stream?
No, it's currently frozen.
Oh, I died anyway, it's fine.
Shit. You get the dynamite crystal?
Yeah, I got the dynamite.
Nice.
Dang.
Alright, it looks like it's back up now.
How are we now?
It's running. We're good.
Okay, I'm seeing a lot of frames get dropped, so this is bad. It does happen, though. It's just unfortunate. Alright, so to catch everyone up, I did a lot of running and jumping, and I got my all the crystal shards in this level.
Let me see if I'm up to date. Alright, unfortunate that stream went down, but
Yeah.
the last room we had
Is it-
to avoid a lot of those rocks crushing Kirby, basically. That was like the main movement there.
Are we good now?
Yeah, we're good, we're good.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, we can continue. Alright, sorry about that, folks. And going into this next level, 4-3. Pick up this ice power and combine it with the rock here in order to get power that we saw earlier, curling stone. And we're going to be using this throughout the next 2 levels, this one and 4-4 coming up. Yeah, just some information about curling stone movement. Basically, like we mentioned earlier a little bit, you should be sprinting when you activate it so that curling stone can start at maximum speed. And then it gradually slows down, I think with every frame it slows down. So ideally, I believe, you're meant to stay in curling like for 40 frames or something. That's what I heard a little while ago. And right here we see the painting, we got Parasol for this pattern. There's 3 different ones you can get. Parasol is actually the slowest, so a little bit unfortunate with that luck, but the next slowest is Pizza, and then the fastest is the Top Hat. Basically, whatever pattern you get, you have to break these blocks in the following screen in order to make that pattern, and then the crystal shows up in the middle. So just grab that and then continue
Pacific
on your way.
Northwest Internet, am I right?
Okay, you said you were on some random person's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, there's this thing where like people can have guest networks open if you have the same provider, and so I got
I
lucky.
got it. Yeah, whatever works, as long as we get through this.
Yeah. As soon as my router restarts, though, I'm going to try to switch it over so that we have a more stable feed.
Yeah, as Mello mentioned, that was a really nice parasol, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Crap.
Now, this ending section right here. These rocks, they spell something. They spell Kirby. Who never knew that? Fun fact, number 3. The rocks spell Kirby. Oh my god. Anyway. No, lane 3. Alright, we're good. False alarm. Stream's still going. Don't worry, folks. This next level, 4-4, we got some more shoulder RNG, except they're falling from the ceiling this time instead of coming from the left side of the screen. And you gotta be careful with those when activating the curling stone and moving through that part in order to avoid damage. And then with this room, with all this lava and stuff, there's a lot more precise movement with the curling stone, especially with these tiny platforms. But once you finish that room, we move on to another DDD section. Some nice movement here. Just a lot more enemy avoidance. Using the powered up hammer attack to break these thicker stone pillars that are in your way. And then for the thinner ones, you can just do one single hammer attack. And then you actually have to break the top part of this pillar right here in order to get the crystal. And I remember on my first ever attempt of 100%, I actually missed that and I had to go back. That run ended up being almost 2 hours long, I think. That was brutal. But yeah, once you finish DDD, whips you through the door, and then you continue using curling stone for this next section right here. There's a lot more enemies, a lot more slopes you gotta be careful of. And a lot more lava you gotta avoid.
That's a shame this run's spliced. Can't submit it.
Another thing to be extra careful about is if you take 2 hits consecutively, or within a certain amount of time, the power can actually fall out of Kirby, and if it lands in the lava, it just breaks immediately and you can't get it back. Which, for this room, it can be really, really bad because we need the curling stone for the crystal in the next room, so you gotta make sure to hang on to the power pretty much at all costs. So right here, breaking this block that looks brown and red. I'm not sure how they deemed that you need curling stone for it.
Oh, jeez, I messed that one
I'm not going to question it at this point. Game's, like, however old now.
Sorry, I'm, like, trying to watch my router, make sure it comes back up.
Yeah, for this next room, we got to make sure to grab double fire for the, this next part where we have to avoid the wall of lava that's coming after Kirby. And we hang on to double fire until the very end. But another good example of timing your double fire inputs, because with each double fire it's about 3 seconds. At a constant speed you can't slow it down or speed it up in any way, but it's about a 3-second attack and you land in a very specific spot every time, so you gotta be wary of where you land to make sure to keep the movement going properly. This next room, there's a crystal on the left you gotta grab real quick, and then you head up the middle. And what's nice is that when you get rid of the double fire power, you actually break all of the blocks that are above you in your way, so it makes a nice little path for you to just float through. And then before you head out of the level, you gotta pick up one cutter power, which you'll use to combine with a fire in the Magman fight coming up next to get the fire sword. And Magman, he's got a lot of RNG associated with him.
After Magman, I'm going to try switching back to my router, see if that works.
Alright. With this Magman fight, you try to combine the cutter power with one of these fire enemies that comes out in order to get this fire sword. And this first phase can either be 2 or 3 cycles. Obviously, 3 cycles is a little bit slower, you don't want that, but thankfully we got 2 here because with this second attack, we're allowed to do 4 hits instead of just 2. So we finished that first phase off quickly, and then with the second phase, you can do 3 different attacks. There's one where boulders can fall from the ceiling, there's one where he can breathe fire at you, and there's one where he can go into the ground and slide to the other side of the room. And if he goes into the ground, that's very, very slow. That's definitely what you don't want. Unfortunately, as marathon luck has it, seems to be what we're dealing with. But you just have to work around it. Now continue hitting them.
Alright, I'm gonna switch it over. Give me a sec.
Yeah, we're gonna switch Wi-Fi right now. See if we can get a little more stable.
Okay, it should be good now. Are we good?
Yeah, I'm seeing it. We're
Okay,
good.
cool.
Yep, they got it.
Sorry about that.
The internet should be much better now, so you can pray until the end of the run. It's only like, what, 20-something minutes longer. Hopefully it holds out on us. This world, though, World 5, Shiver Star, it's actually probably the hardest world in the run. Just between all 4 of the levels, it's got a lot of tricky stuff and a lot of bad RNG to deal with. So you'll see a lot of that as we go through it. 5-1 here, basically starting off, we get the single fire. Continue on as usual with the single fire. Climb up these ladders and make our way to the 3rd and final Waddle Dee auto-scroller with the sled here. And it works the same way as with the minecart. With each jump, you get a tiny little bit of speed boost. And basically just want to keep jumping as much as you possibly can. And then there's another crystal you gotta grab on top of the igloo coming up. And yeah, just like the minecart section, you gotta avoid these little stumps that are coming out of the ground, or else you end up smacking off of them and flipping around and taking damage. Yeah, you jump on this igloo, grab that crystal, then proceed. And with each of these auto-scrollers, if you miss those crystals, you have to redo the whole level. There's no way to go back, which either loses a ton of time or just kills the run entirely, depending on what kind of run you're going for. You know, with this mini boss, the chili, let's break the block at the top of the fire. And then, yeah, do as many hits as possible.
This game is trolling me.
It can be tough. Normally you try to get stuck in between the chili and the wall on the right side, but it's a lot harder than it seems. Much tighter window to do that than you might think. Yeah, with this room, you skip over these 3 little snowmen and you swim into the water right here. And we're going to be doing single firing under the water, and you might notice it's a lot slower. It's because underwater, all animations are cut to half speed, I believe.
Yep, 50%.
So this room can be a bit tricky with avoiding all these enemies, especially that Gordo right there, the spiked enemy, and hopping out of the water. But pretty well done. Not too bad. No complaints.
Now we've got another climb.
Yep, another climb here, just like we saw back in 3-2. We gotta get over this giant mountain.
Oh,
You
no.
can either...
No way, dude.
Oh,
No.
no. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my goodness.
Jeez, I have never seen that.
That has literally never happened before.
Holy cow. That's unfortunate. But yeah, with those enemies, I don't remember their names, but they throw those massive boulders at you, and if you get hit by them and then fall underneath, normally Kirby gets crushed, and the boulder passes and you can continue on, but unfortunately there, it kind of kept bumping off. I don't know if I've ever seen that. You gonna grab a single fire before this, or just continue on?
Just trying to remember. Oh, I guess 5-1's good.
Yeah, 5-1. Yeah, normally you need a single fire for the next level, so we're gonna grab it here just to, run through the route as it would normally be done.
Yeah, I definitely need single fire.
Yeah, 5-2, another example of why Sparky can be such a big troll that we mentioned back in World 2. There's a big part at the end where we have to combine a spike power-up that we pick up somewhere in the middle with Sparky to get the lightning rod power in order to grab a crystal in the mini-boss right before the end. And there's a pit where Sparky can jump into and just, die off. And when he does that, you have to run off screen, or respawn the Sparky, basically. And that can just waste tons of time if he continues to do that. And you can also miss the combo completely, which, again, you would have to restart the whole level or, kill the run at that point. But until we grab the spike power-up, it's just single firing as usual throughout, except for this crystal where we shoot out of these green blobs to the top left in order to grab that one.
I think they're called galbos. I don't know. Kirby enemies have like weird names.
With this part right before picking up the spike power, there's a lot of stuff you gotta avoid.
Ugh.
Yeah. It can get kind of ugly depending on how the enemies are placed. But you see right there, getting rid of the fire and picking up the spike. And then just running to the Sparky, which is in the next room.
Pray for good RNG.
Yep. This part is crucial when going for a good time in a run. Now right there, you saw him headbutt the first two purple birds. You might think that's just, kind of random movement, but it's actually so that the birds fly upwards a little bit, so you can run through them much quicker. Because normally they just fly downwards and
Got him.
can waste a little bit of time. Oh, very good, Sparky. That's pretty much perfect. Nicely done.
Heck yeah. Alright.
So yeah, for this mini-boss, you see the box in the middle is yellow and orange. That's where we need the lightning rod to reveal the crystal once the mini-boss is defeated, and then just make our way out. And on to the mall level. Call it the mall just because it looks like a abandoned mall, I guess. It's a pretty cool level. But this one can actually be pretty tough to get through. There's a lot more stuff you have to avoid. And this is why World 5 is so tough. It's just got worse and worse levels piled on top of each other.
It's got a random down input. I blame the D-pad.
Yeah, with that first part, you use the double power to kill off those bomb enemies and make that escalator a little faster. And then jumping over another one of the boulders, which we saw in 5-1. And yet another one. In this next room, we keep riding up all these elevators and sort of weaving through all these enemies on each level. And it's kind of cool because with each level, there's different tricks to get through them. Like that first one, we absorb 2 of them and shoot them out to break everyone. With this second level, it's just sort of weaving through them all and avoiding the frogs. With the third level, you have to pick up one of the spike powers because eventually we're going to be getting the drill back, which we solved, I think in 4-3 earlier. So you pick up that spike, and this next one...
I disagree.
Oh gosh. Yeah, we gotta avoid these block enemies that come down, but sometimes it can be a bit tough. You can sort of bump off of them in the wrong way. In this last room, just kind of avoid these cannons.
Somebody
followed, nice.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, make quick work of that mini-boss with the spike power. Grab the crystal.
Right.
And then, depending on what fruit Adeline paints for you, you have to hit a different colored button. So we got red, pink, and green here.
Pretty good RNG.
Yeah, very good. The worst. So, that was really good. They were all before the middle. Yeah, this room... Right.
How is internet quality?
Still good.
Okay.
We're still running. This next room we pull out and spike, and we sort of just keep running, and the rock conveniently runs through it, and we get the drill power up. And then another little water section, similar to what we saw in the 3-3. Avoid the frogs. And this next part, using the drill to clear out some of these enemies. Get through.
Oh my goodness.
This room takes a while to get used to. Not easy. Yeah, that was another example before we got on the earlier poll of the drill being the same as running speed. Now, with this room, we got the aimbot cannons, we like to call them. Now, basically, depending on your speed and where you're moving vertically, they can actually predict where you're going to be and hit you with some pretty good accuracy. So if you're not careful, you can get really blasted by these cannons. But made easy work of it.
Absolutely bodied.
Yeah, for this next level, before we enter in to the factory, you actually pull out the power, and that skips a little cutscene in the beginning where Kirby's climbing down the ladder, so it saves a tiny bit of time there. And then we need the drill to break this block. Shoot it down right there. And that reveals the first crystal of the level. We pick up our single fire, which we'll be using for the greater part of this level. But before we really use it, we got another DDD section.
Yep, a lot of precise jumps.
Yeah, with this section, you have the conveyor belt underneath you that runs against you, and it slows you down a lot, so it's sort of like the river, where you have to keep jumping when the current's against you. And the further along you make it along the conveyor belt, it actually speeds up more and more. So you gotta be careful with making quick work of this while jumping over all these enemies and not getting hit by the hammers. Because if you get crushed by the hammers, it's insta-death. You have to start the whole room over again. And you lose the fire power up for later. So it can really hurt your run going forward.
Yeah, I played that really safe.
This next room, we got some bi-directional conveyor belts here. Some of them are with you, some of them are against you. You just gotta, do corresponding movements to get through them as fast as possible. But we pick up the cutter here, and we're going to combine that with an electric power that we pick up in order to get the electric sword for this mini-boss.
Darth Kirby. Alright.
Heard someone call him Darth Small before. I think it's a pretty good name. But we used that sword to break the cage at the top, which was colored green and yellow if you didn't have time to look at it. Then just use the sword to make quick work of this Phoenix enemy here. And then pick up another single fire power. And get the crystal. And this next room, we got these compressors that, just like the hammers in the DDD section, are an insta-kill if you get crushed in the floor. So this part, you gotta be very careful with all of your movements. there's also cannons shooting at you, so you gotta worry about those as well. But not as much of a worry as getting crushed by these things. But when you get used to this section, it's not too bad.
It's actually pretty nice once you learn it.
Yeah, on an older route, they actually combined fire with the cutter enemy here, and then went into the boss battle, HR, with fire sword, but we since learned a couple years ago that it's faster to keep fire all the way through, and then at the end of the level, right before you leave, throw away the firepower and pick up the spark, because you can actually finish this level faster and defeat the boss in about the same time that you would with the fire sword. Yeah, this next boss, as I mentioned, his name is HR, HRH to be specific. The first attack that he does is very RNG dependent. He can either shoot a laser at you or shoot missiles at you, which both of those attacks you can't do any damage on him.
Oh.
Or he can clap his hands.
Like that.
And if he does that...
Oh, what? No way!
Oh, no.
What? Oh, man, I suck.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can either
Oh, that would have
slap...
been 3 cycles. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no. No. Jeez.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was actually very good luck on that battle. Just some unfortunate movement there, but with the clap, you can actually do 4 hits out of 6 on this phase on him, and with each slap, you can do 1 hit. So it is possible to get a 3 attack first phase, which is by far the fastest you can get. And then with the second phase, it does a couple of attacks, but it's not as much of a time waster if you get some bad luck. He's got to do 3 hits, and then he does that attack, and then 3 more hits, and the battle is over. And then be sure to toss out the spark power before going to World 6. But yeah, this boss battle, it's kind of like Rick with how you can get 23rd try. You can get, like, I've gotten 14th cycle first phase. And that
In a
was
race.
A ton of time. Yep, in a race. Yeah, with this level, you might notice it looks a lot like 1-1, and that's because it's literally the same level, just with different enemies and a different skin on it. So we like to call it the DLC level. The developers got a little lazy, we like to say.
Yeah, they had to meet the deadline, you know?
Half-finished game, by the way. No, just kidding. You use the single fire in the beginning, and then you saw he picked up the spike power, which we absorb in the mini-boss just because it saves a little bit of time. Make quick work of the mini-boss. Nice and easy with the spike. We need the spike later on to combine with the bomb enemy in order to grab a crystal right at the end, where we need to break a brown and orange, black and orange block, sorry. So right there, getting the power combo.
Do some puddle jumping, and go on 6-2.
Yep. And it's quicker if you pull out the power before leaving the level as well, because we have to return to 6-1 to pick up a spark power-up that we need for 6-2 in order to combine for another electric sword, which we saw earlier. And we'll see here at the beginning of 6-2, if you're diving into this next section, into the water, and Kirby's sort of in the phase where he's like diving down, and you hold that animation, he swims down much faster than normal. And we didn't actually find that out until like back in June, I think, at GDQ.
Yeah, at GDQ. In the practice room.
Yeah. Yeah, right here you pull out the spark and combine it with the cutter to get the sword, as we saw earlier. The Darth Small sword.
The nice moves sword.
We got this little DDD cutscene where he clears the path for us.
Final stretch, though.
Yep, only 3 more levels, 2 of them being boss fights, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. Yeah, this level, there's not too much opportunity to lose time. It's probably like a 3 or 4 second swing. So it's pretty consistent. Just gotta go over to the left here in the water to grab this well-hidden crystal.
No, missed the start.
We make our way out, and we get the final invincibility candy of the run.
You can say it, Curtis, right now.
Dance, bitches! And you just have to make sure you have at least the cutter power to break that barrier. You don't even need the spark with that one, which can help you if you somehow lose the spark earlier on. You can keep playing with the single cutter, but
all right, it's time for the Sour Place level, everyone's favorite song in the game.
Yep. I think this song sounds like the Cowboy Bebop song, but this level is a lot of fun. Basically, there's 5 different rooms. They each spawn all these little enemies. You just make quick work of them with the electric sword. The odd-numbered rooms each have a crystal in them. So you gotta make sure not to run out of the room too early, or else you'll lose the opportunity to pick up the crystal. But yeah, just with all this jumping and swinging the sword back and forth, you can just kill off these small enemies easily.
Oh geez, jumped too soon.
Yeah, this room is awesome because you kill the first 2 enemies, the first 3 enemies with the sword. You pull out the sword, throw it at this cutter enemy across the screen, pick up the fire, combine it with that spike enemy right there, shoot the ground to reveal another crystal, suck up the spark enemy, and then combine it with the cutter enemy to get the electric sword back. And then you finish the level with the power that you started with. So definitely one of the coolest parts of the run. And with these last 2 rooms, enemies spawn in the air, so you gotta make sure that they're always jumping and attacking at the same time. Which you'll see in this final room, it can be pretty tough with the way they spawn to make sure you get them all.
The game is very notorious with eating your A inputs. Oh, just like that.
Yeah, with the electric sword, it's weirdly programmed where it's very easy for it to just eat inputs and
come on, dude. Okay, there we go.
Very clear button inputs. But yeah.
Alright, final boss coming up.
Yeah.
Alright, want to explain Miracle Matter?
Yeah, coming up, we got second last boss, final boss of any percent. But his name is Miracle Matter, and basically he has these different phases where he shoots a different power at you, and you have to hit him with that power during the phase in order to do damage. And all of them take
no way
3 hits, except for Bomb, which takes 2 hits. And the best luck you can get on this fight is if you start with Spark and Cutter. It can save a ton of time since you can just use the sword to finish them off, but it's very uncommon to get that lucky. But thankfully with all of these powers, there's a way to defeat them in one cycle, but the toughest are Fire, Spark, and Bomb. So with Bomb and Spark, it depends on where the power-ups spawn in the first place. You sort of have to get lucky with their placement to pick them up quickly and to do damage as quickly as possible. And with Fire, there's actually a phase where if it shoots out these fire pillars in all 4 directions, you can only do up to 2 hits. So it's actually impossible to kill it in one cycle. So it seems to be going well so far. Let's see.
No! Of course it was Bomb.
As you saw with Bomb there, it goes away very quickly. There's such a limited window to do damage against it. But yeah, the Rock, Spike, Cutter, all these powers are easy enough to bang out in one cycle every time.
2 hits. Thanks, game.
Yeah, another unlucky Spark there. finishing off the bomb.
All right. So
Making
final
quick
boss
work
coming
of
up.
the
02. It's a new trick.
I can explain that if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So coming up, final world, world 7. It only appears when you get all of the crystals in the game. So it's a good sign. Shows that we got them all. The boss is 02. There's a new trick found. So normally, the way that the fight plays out is that you shoot his eyeball on his face 28 times, I think. Something like that, 28 or 30. And then he reveals the halo on top of his head. You shoot that 12 times and then hit the band-aid underneath it. And then he reveals this green spike on the bottom, which is where you actually start to do damage. You shoot that as much as you possibly can in one phase. And then when that phase is up, if the spike is small enough, you can start flipping over in a way that you can hit the band-aid on top of his head again and continue shooting the spike. And if you can get this trick, which, again, like the rest of the run requires some really good RNG, it can save anywhere between 15 and 20 seconds, so it's a pretty huge trick that we found.
Yeah. Time will be on the last hit of the green spike.
Yep. Once 02 starts exploding, the run will be over.
No!
Oh, it looks close.
He spun weird.
Yeah, sometimes he spins in strange patterns like that, which sort of hide the band-aid from Kirby, so it's actually kind of impossible to shoot it, but just
Absolutely debated.
It was close though. It was a valiant attempt. This one's still very good though. Low 113. Yeah, time coming up.
And time.
Nice. GG.
Heck yeah.
Well, 113, 14? No, 15, 16.
16.
113, 16. Nicely done.
Sweet. So, Fleet Fest benefits Bellingham Food Bank. Please consider making a donation. Up next, we have Lilatter, Hoot Crew. He's the homie, and he's got a very, very entertaining run coming up. I don't know if you guys have seen Star Fox 64 GDQ. This dude's pretty entertaining. Yeah, thanks for having me, Allie. Thanks for having this marathon. Thank you, Curtis, for commentating for most of that whole run.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been a blast.
Yeah, apologize for the internet, but
What are you doing in my car?
Nice.
All right.